Game Week 4 team selection. But first, let's take a look at how Game Week 3 went. So yeah, a few players actually had a pretty decent game week for me. But honestly, Kelleher, the less said the better. He ended up conceding 2 late goals to Sunderland, and Brentford looked really poor defensively. I'm not going to waste a free transfer on a goalkeeper, not right now anyway, but there's no way he's making it into my wildcard when that eventually comes around in the next few weeks. So moving on to the defence, and Virgil van Dijk finally got his first clean sheet of the season, which is nice to see. It came at home against Arsenal as well, so not exactly an easy fixture either. He was actually just 2 points off DEFCON, which would have been great, but he did manage to pick up 2 bonus points. So yeah, I'll definitely take that. And then Munoz, honestly, this guy's just quietly ticking along. He kept another clean sheet. Like I mentioned in the Fantasy Focus video earlier this week, Palace have only conceded 1 goal so far this season, and that's despite facing 3 of the top 7 last season already. Munoz also chipped in with DEFCON points and grabbed a bonus as well. So yeah, like, he's looking proper value for money right now, and he has easier fixtures coming up, so you can hope for more points. So moving into midfield, Bruno Fernandes, he managed to bag a late penalty to give United all the 3 points, and honestly that's just made the captaincy call feel a lot better, especially when it comes so late. I've said it before, it's so important to pick a captain who stays on for the full 90, because you never know when those late drama moments are going to happen, and with Bruno always on the pitch, there's more chance that he's going to be involved in those moments. And then Palace beat Villa, and I did expect that. I did say that in my videos before the game. That's now 6 games unbeaten against them, 5 wins, 1 draw, and yeah, Sarr got himself on the score sheet again with the 3rd goal. So Villa fans and players must hate Sarr because he always manages to score against them. The only downside is that he did pick up an injury during the match, which is obviously really frustrating with easier fixtures coming up. So it's just a wait and see now to see if he'll be fit for Game Week 4. Fingers crossed, but we'll keep an eye on team news this Friday. Elsewhere, Cole Palmer ended up being injured, which kind of forced my hand. We all knew this anyway. I had to make a transfer, and I went with Reinders to keep my midfield strong with top players in top teams. He blanked this week, which is a bit of a shame, but honestly I'm still happy with the pick. He looks like one of the few bright sparks in what's been a really slow start for City. I'm confident he'll come good. He's 5.7 million, so you don't expect much from these players, but he is playing for City, so he is going to be, so majority of the time they're going to have the ball and he's going to get in good position, so fingers crossed he can pick up a few points in the weeks ahead. And then up top, another blank for Watkins, which is becoming a bit of a pattern. He did manage to score when on international break, but that goal was disallowed. He did win the penalty as well that Rashford put away for the final goal against Serbia, which is promising, but going back to Villa, it's Villa who aren't creating a lot of chances for Watkins, so whether or not he has the same opportunities that he did for England, it remains to be seen when he plays for Villa. But he does have easier fixtures coming up again, so you just cannot get rid of him right now, but he's becoming very frustrating. João Pedro saved the day with a goal in Chelsea's somewhat controversial win over Fulham. That's now 2 goals and 2 assists in 3 games for him, and he's up to 64% ownership now. So yeah, at this point he's pretty much a must-have, just because so many players own him, and if you don't own him, then he's a real threat to your rank, because when he scores and you don't have him, your rank is going to drop massively. And then of course, once again, for the 3rd week running, I've left points on the bench. Diouf, who grabbed an assist and got a clean sheet in West Ham's shock win away at Forest. That was 10 points that he managed, and yeah, they sat on the bench for me. Brilliant. So after all of that, I finished on 64 points, which gave me another green arrow. So of course, I'm going to take that. Happy days. I'm now up to a rank of 1.6 million with a total of 171 points after 3 game weeks. So it's steady progress. Let's move on to Game Week 4 transfers and what I'm thinking ahead of it. Now, after the game week wrapped up on Sunday, we had that Gyökeres price drop on Sunday evening, which kind of caught me off guard. Luckily, I checked the price rises and falls. And yeah, I had to make a move quickly and made another transfer. So I've gone ahead and made that move. I'll show you exactly what I did in the team selections coming up next. At the moment, I've got 1 free transfer going into Game Week 4 and just 0.2 in the bank. So yeah, as I said, I ended up making a move on Sunday evening. I took Gyökeres out and I've actually brought in Gyökeres. Yeah, just trying to get ahead of the curve with that one. If I'm being honest, he hasn't exactly passed the eye test for me just yet. But at the same time, he's a striker playing for the second best team in the league. They create a ton of chances, and with Saka out, he's definitely on penalties, which definitely helps his appeal. He's currently projected to score around 16 points over the next 3 game weeks, and if that even comes close to playing out, I'd be more than happy with the move. The fixture this week is decent with Forest at home, so there's definitely opportunity for him to pick up some points. And after that, the fixtures do get a little tougher with Man City and Newcastle coming up, but the plan is for him to hopefully grab a couple of returns early on, build up some form, and maybe even trigger a price rise as more managers jump on him when his fixtures become easier. A little bit of wishful thinking, I know. If it works, great. And then my next move is completely going to depend on what happens with Sarr. If he's ruled out for more than a week, then yeah, I'm probably have to make another transfer. Right now, I'm leaning towards Legaue from Everton, just because with the Goose out and the Gyökeres buy, I no longer have enough to go for Semenyo, which is kind of annoying, but if I wanted Semenyo, I should have gone for him a long time ago, so I'm happy to go against him. There's a couple of other options that I've got. Rodri is the main one for me. He's just come back from an injury, but he did already start 90 and play 90 minutes for City, so that's promising. He looks like a bit of a DEFCON magnet when you look at his previous season stat, and he quietly chips away with attacking returns as well, so definitely someone I'm thinking about. And that could just be a straight swap because Sarr is 6.5 million and so is Rodri. But I'm not touching anything else until we hear from the manager in Friday's press conference. My hope is that Sarr's injury isn't as bad as it first looked and maybe just misses a game or 2 at the most. I really want to keep him longer term if I can because he's looked sharp so far and Palace have a decent run of games coming up. Now quickly moving on to the team selection. In goal, I've gone for Kelleher. He's got Chelsea at home. I could go for Dubravka, but he's got Liverpool at home, so pick your poison with those two. Neither of them are good games, but I'm going to go for Kelleher because just a previous of Brentford's experience in the Premier League, you kind of hope that they're going to do better than what Burnley would against Liverpool. So Kelleher's in goal, but I'm not really expecting much, unfortunately. At the back, we've gone Van Dijk against Burnley. Burnley are currently in the bottom 5 for expected goals, so there's definitely a clean sheet potential there. My fantasy focus video showed that Liverpool had odds of 50% of keeping a clean sheet in that game, so very good odds. Munoz has Sunderland at home, and they're only just 1 above Burnley when it comes to expected goals scored, so they're again not a very creative side. Like I said in the fantasy focus video, Palace have a 46 or 48% chance of keeping a clean sheet, so Munoz definitely stays. Van der Ven is the final pick, and he's got an away game against West Ham. I could put in Diouf, who's at home to Spurs, but honestly I just don't trust that West Ham to be consistent enough yet. If it's one game, it could just continue how it did for the first 2 game weeks, and then again I'll be picking Diouf and being frustrated with him, so I'm going to stick with Van der Ven. They're the better team, so I'm going to expect them to have more chance of getting the clean sheet and pick up some returns there. Spurs did lose to Spurs lost to Bournemouth, but Bournemouth are a good side. They showed that against Liverpool in game week 1. West Ham are going to need to string together a few more solid results before Diouf makes it back into my starting 11. I do have the option of making a transfer there. If we have positive news on Sarr, maybe I could go for a Senesi with my 0.2, take out Diouf and put in Senesi, or I could just do a straight swap to Richards and double up on the Palace defence. That's something I've been thinking about. In midfield, Bruno starts away to Man City. United aren't going to see much of the ball in that one, so I'm kind of hoping he picks up some DEFCON points and maybe nicks a return if the game opens up. Salah faces Burnley, and if he's going to finally get going this season, you'd really hope this is a game where it happens. It's been a slow start for him compared to last season, so fingers crossed we see something from the Egyptian king. As I said, Sarr's in the 11 for now, but it all depends on what Glasner says in his press conference on Friday. If he's ruled out for 1 week or max 2, then Anderson will come in. He's more of the Bruno type pick in that sense, where you're going to be hoping for DEFCON points and again maybe to nick an attack in return. If Sarr's out for more than a week or 2, I'll look to transfer him out, and as I said, it will probably be NGI. And finally up top, I actually think the front line looks pretty strong on paper. On another day, I'd be really happy with this setup, but with how Watkins is playing, he really needs to deliver this week. He's got some easier fixtures coming up, which is great, but if he can pick up an attacking return against an Everton side who aren't actually defending very well, they have a very high XGC and they're conceding a lot of chances. So once they've won a couple of games, they do concede a lot of chances. So if Watkins and Aston Villa can pick up some form, there's a chance for him to pick up some points. So fingers crossed on that one. And then all chips are still intact. I haven't touched them yet. We are getting close to using our first chip. That will be in the next week or so with the bench boost or the free hit. But right now I'm just waiting for the press conferences on Friday. For now, I'm rolling my transfer this week, keeping it safe. The plan is to get to game week 5 and 6, reassess the squad, and then either look at the free hit or the bench boost. Here's hoping for another green arrow. Good luck this game week, everyone. Drop your captain's pick and differentials in the comments. Always good to see what you lot are doing too.